We live. Welcome back, all you beautiful people, to that We Got Action podcast. It's going to be episode 35 coming at y'all, talking about some NBA today. So, again, like we talked about last week, we are in the prime of the season. We are right in the middle of the season right now. A lot of stuff's going on. And we got a decent little agenda today. We're going to be talking about the dunk contest coming up because All-Star break is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about something Steve Kerr said during the week about Steph.
A little spicy.
Danny's got a fun segment. I really actually was happy you put this in there because I like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah,
I got some good stuff to talk.
Come on now.
Another thing that happened, LeBron was ripping the officials for a blatant miscall at the end of the game and just miscalls throughout the game. I believe they came out the following day saying there was like 8 or 9 miscalls throughout the entire game. Terrible. And then another question is who we believe the best 1v1 player in the league would be. I know it's a team game, but it's still fun because come playoff time, it does kind of turn into a lot of half court ISO ball.
I'm talking straight up 1v1. I just want to throw that out. Oh yeah, I'm talking straight up 1v1.
I might have to change my choice.
Like 2K Park 1v1s.
I think that's what he's going for.
Oh yes.
All right, I might have to change my pick then.
Just a little fun.
I might have to change my pick. And then we got an overrated, underrated segment at the very end. We each have a decent little small pool of players that we're just going to kind of run through and kind of give our takes on, do we believe this player is underrated? Do we believe this player is overrated? Or do we think they're just kind of properly rated in their current role? Some of us have a star or two in there. Some of us have role players in there. Some of us have maybe a player that we think should be getting more minutes that might not be getting minutes. So
at least we think.
Right. So we got a little pool of players, but we're going to start off again talking about the NBA dunk contest. Mac McClung, who is not an active NBA player, he is a G League player. He is participating in the dunk contest. And I think this is going to kind of prove to most of us the continued fall of the NBA dunk contest. I think it hit its peak. Was it 5 years ago? The Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine just back and forth. There was no winner. But they said Zach won. The year before that was the one you said?
No, like that was like a little heartbeat to try to get it back alive.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Because then I think Aaron, was it a year or two ago after that, Aaron got robbed again and he was putting on a show again.
Yes.
That was like 18 or 19. And he said he'll never do it again. But the question, Danny, you posed, should the NBA discontinue the dunk contest? No stars are kind of consistently going in and performing like they used to in the 90s, the 80s, the early 2000s. Even the 2010s, you were still seeing some fun theatrics and still some stars getting involved.
Yeah.
There's been no really good performances in the last 3 to 4 years. Should they discontinue it? What do we think?
I truly believe that you should just open the competition. I just think that you can. It was sometime brought up last year going into the season on what you should try and do and fix it, or even after it happened, that open a competition up for people around the country, so that way they can get it. So that way they can get exposure. In a way, you're giving back to the community by allowing some exposure to people and being put on national television. Run it the exact same way, but I just don't think you can have just NBA players and now. Maybe this will be a growing thing. G League players. I don't think you can have NBA players or the G League players in the dunk contest anymore. Everybody's seen all the types of dunks I think that you can really come up with.
At least that I feel like NBA players are safe performing.
Correct.
Because there's definitely like the show that they had, I can't remember what it was called, where they did do like street dunkers, guys that were like trying some stupid stuff.
Yeah, it was on TNT.
I can't remember the show.
But you can add that instead.
But that's what I'm saying.
And I think that's what Danny's kind of saying they should implement. Because then you do like tryouts leading up to the year. You bring the finalists and basically run the final of the show as the dunk contest.
And like even like a Midwest, East Coast, South, and West Coast, do like a thing
4
like
guys, a winner from each.
Exactly.
I think that'd be fucking sick because that show was crazy, dude.
And those guys at that point, they have something to lose, obviously, if they
Right.
You,
Put a
depending
little
on
prize
how,
pool in there.
but I'm saying as far as like possible injury, but like again, they're going for the exposure. They're going to get
Right.
recognized, and maybe this will give them a future opportunity.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just don't think. I just when like people saying or like John Morant should be in the dunk contest just
He ain't
because he's
gonna do that.
posterizing people. But I'm saying just because he's posterizing people, I don't. That does not translate into the dunk contest. Just because like
There's
now if we
in-game
don't think
dunking
it's
and
that.
there's skilled dunking. There's
exactly
Well,
that's
for me,
yeah.
like I'm one of them people that asks for Ja. It has nothing to do with that. It's the amount of air he's covering.
Yeah, the ferocity
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
It's the
he's
same thing
doing
with
all these.
Zion.
Like,
he's a leaper. He's a true
Yes.
leaper.
yeah, like I need to see like a Zion. Why? Because you could put those that like, yes, we didn't see all these other dunks throughout the years, but what made them so like worth watching was the power behind the dunk, or like the amount of attempts it is to finish a dunk. Like I don't think anybody outside of like Blake and that Kai dunk like was trying anything like outrageous to where they gonna hurt themselves. Like
correct.
you might see a couple 360s, you might see a little bit of that, but like you can still put on a show, is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
and I think the G League, like for the G League, Ad McClung, he's the first G League player to do it. So it's
Correct.
like it's a step into what you saying, Danny. I feel like before you start going to the community, it's like let me open it up to the guys who don't get an All-Star game or All-Star.
Right,
weekend.
I
right.
really think this is the last chance of it being like any type of regular like a regular program that they've been having. I think this is the last chance. If this one flops as bad, well, last year was just
really
terrible.
bad, man.
But if this one is a close second to that, or nothing really exciting, especially if they have it last again past.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is if you do
contest,
if you change it to what you're saying, then it opens up to sliding the 3-point contest into the last slot.
Yeah.
and they should do that regardless.
And that's always a thrill because nobody's getting hurt shooting a ball like that.
Exactly.
And you got snipers all over the league, especially with the way the league's transitioned.
Exactly.
And that's always a blast because you got guys, it's down to the wire. You got to make all the last whole rack to maybe force it to, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, bro. That's where I'm at with it. You got to change it up. You got to do something before you complete. Like, I mean, look at what the NFL is doing with the Pro Bowl now. Now they scrapped the game. It's a waste of time.
Yep.
You know, I think the dunk contest at this point is a waste of time until you change it, until you provide some new flavor. You have to do something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't keep it the same.
We had Cole Anthony, Duncan, and Tim's.
Dude, that was terrible.
That's the whole like we've lost the creativity thing has like it's gone from how can I make the coolest new dunk to how can I do something so
How can I
outrageous
dress up like
to
an
like
idiot?
yeah, it's not about the dunks anymore. It's about everything else.
Hey. You ever dunked in Tim's?
No.
You ever dunked in Tim's? Tim's
No,
a heavy.
But I also don't have an open 40-inch vert.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, it wasn't a cute dunk, but man, give him a little something.
No, and
it was, but
because the dunks that are creative and hard to execute, they're not cashing.
Yeah.
Like we're seeing guys get 40s for striking out, or
like even if Zach was missing one, he was missing something fucking crazy.
And then he got it right back
his second shot.
These guys are going out there like they missed 2 or 3 dunks, and then they go have to do their backup dunk, which is a lot safer. And like you've already missed 3 dunks, and so you're like it kills the vibe of the whole contest.
Another thing for me, but like in years past, like I feel like they had a chance to like at least get a little practice in on that dunk. Or like you knew somebody up until this point was heading to the dunk contest. Like reason why like LeBron was getting a lot of hype because he was putting on dunk contest shows before in his pregame practices, like right before practice start. So like they was able to do that. Like you don't think any of these other dunk contest players or winners was doing that up until that point because they knew what it was. Like we made fun of Zach LaVine, that whole dunk contest. That's why I was saying this whole decade. Before that, Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon and like the Aaron Gordon age. Everybody understand when you seen the names of those 2 people on there, you were like, "Who the hell is these people?"
Yeah.
And then when they hopped on the floor and they put the dunks down and start wowing you, that's when it happens. Like, and that's from them practicing all that time. And I just think that's what has to be. Like, I just think everybody else been BSing it. Like last year was strictly all them guys BS that dunk contest.
Yes, 100%.
Like, nobody worked on that. They was out there for their fun and amusement, which is okay. But like, it's a lot of people who come to watch that dunk contest. I'm looking for like.
But that's where it opens up too. Like now you can open it up to the whole country because that's what they do. That's what they focus on. So I think it'll just be a better product. And the next thing you know, you got more viewers actually tuning in, and it could just be a different vibe because it's like you don't know these people. Yeah, you could look up videos, blah 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 blah. Yep. But it's going to be something that they want special for the finals. They want special for being on national television compared to what they've been posting. Like a lot of these people now. Hamidou Diallo, when he did the dunk contest, that was literally his high school dunk contest that he did. He did all the same dunks from high school that they did on that mixtape. It was the same exact thing, and people were able to see that after the fact with the dunk contest. I just think you just got to open it up. You got to have new blood in there because you're hyping up dunks that are in game that do not translate to dunk contest style dunks.
I also think the scoring in a dunk contest needs to be revamped as well, because I think the first time, like it happens, the first crazy dunk you see gets a 50, and then everything beyond that, it's like, oh, okay, I guess, well, this is also a 50 because I guess it was technically better than the last one, and now we fucked up, right? So maybe going, I saw this was not my idea. I saw this on the internet. I think it was Reddit, talking about having all the dunkers go and then ranking the dunks in order like 1 to 5. Right, or however many it is,
or like a moving type of ranking type of thing, or something like that.
Something where it's like, because again, it does happen where you see like the first dunk and they give, and especially I think a lot of times the scoring now, it's like you go back and watch those like 90s dunk contests, so even like the early 2000s ones, you got guys like holding up a 9, like Dwayne Wade did for Aaron Gordon. Right now,
that
it's
was
like
bogus. That was bogus.
But like, I feel like the scoring is just everyone goes to 50 or so high so quick after the first like really good dunk, the first good dunk. Yeah. And now you're at this point where like it's just all kind of underwhelming. There's no sense of like, I don't know. It kind of kills like all the dunk.
I know exactly what you're talking about, V. Yeah, it don't help. The dunks don't help because you don't get anything after that. Like, that dunk deserved a 50 because shit. All the other dunks was down in the 30s.
Yeah.
I think you throw that random 50 out there to be like, hey, give me something. Like just something. And they're not giving you something.
Yeah. They got to do something with it regardless. I think we're all in agreement with that. They got to do something different. I'm happy though, at least, Mac McClung gets some exposure more so. Again, national television.
Might win the
bitch. He might win. He was a dunker before he got to college.
He might win the bitch.
He was posting dunking YouTube videos and stuff. Yeah. So now this is his moment.
Yeah, it'll be again exposure. So maybe again, the dunk contest doesn't mean anything, but maybe this lands him an opportunity after the All-Star weekend with the team. Who knows? Something along those lines.
Or a tanking team is like, hey, we want to get more fans in the building. Let's get the dunk contest winner from the G League.
Exactly.
Right, and that could be mutually beneficial for both him and the team.
Yeah,
him getting some extended run.
Exactly. So who knows at the end of the day, though? But it'll be interesting to see what they do. Again, we're all in agreement that something has to change. Can't be
any worse than last year.
Yeah, last year was just bad. I had to turn that off after the first round. So, but the next thing I wanted to bring up, Steve Kerr doing a little spicy take himself this week. Steph is the modern Michael Jordan. It brought a lot of heat in regards that LeBron is this generation's Jordan, etc. What's our take on that? Is Steph really the modern MJ? I'm looking at this not from a player standpoint, but I'll let y'all go first. See if you guys are, match where I'm probably gonna go. But I'm not going what Steve Kerr literally meant. That's just my initial take on it. So what do y'all think? Steph the modern MJ?
He said it in the context of like how when Team USA went to Barcelona or went to Paris, wherever it may be, the Bulls, whatever, everyone was there for Michael Jordan. Right. And he's comparing Steph in that same way that when they go abroad, you see 30 jerseys everywhere. He said, I think that's a quote directly from him.
Yeah.
I think it speaks more to the international reach of the game now than it does specifically for Steph, because I think there's a hell of a lot of LeBron jerseys out there. I think there's a hell of a lot of KD jerseys out there, right? I just think that obviously as the NBA has been expanding specifically into a lot of Asian markets and trying to get into the European markets and stuff more so, it's coincided with the Warriors title runs. And this is like this team that they've put together and been competing so they are going to have a lot of fans, but I don't think I don't think Steph on his own has the same gravity and pure, I don't think he brings in the same viewing that MJ did individually. I think that.
Sure about that?
I think so. I think the NBA is much more globally.
I think he's completely changed the way we play regular season basketball.
Yes, but I don't think he is.
And no player has done that since MJ.
In the context, no.
And
In
you're
the
saying
context
that
of-
it coincided with the Warriors title runs. The same thing happened
Like-
with the reach of NBA in the 90s coincided with the Bulls titles runs.
But that's
It's a
talking,
very
I'm
similar
talking about
aspects.
actual NBA efforts to expand into the Asian markets. This and like other overseas markets. It's been a conscious decision-making process for the NBA for years, especially after Adam Silver became commissioner.
Right, but
He's really been pushing.
get back to Steph and MJ though.
Yeah,
We're
so
not talking about Asian markets shit.
that's the context
That has
that
to do with his jersey sales. Cool.
that's
It's-
the
it's-
context that Kerr quote was quoted in, is that when they
what do
used
you
to go.
think?
No, I think it's just the overall expansion of the NBA.
No.
It's
Jesus
overall
Christ.
overall expansion of the NBA has grown. It's not Steph's pull. It's the NBA is now just more available overseas, so there's just more NBA fans overall.
Okay.
Interesting.
I don't know about that. Go ahead, somebody else.
Isaac, what you got?
I think Steph is probably one of the more generational talents we ever had. I think the context of this quote, I think it had nothing to do with like the jersey sales. I think this is like the impact that Steph has made on this game. And I'm not talking about just the NBA level. I'm talking about from NBA all the way down to me coaching
say
little
go
kindergarten,
down,
second
yep.
grade.
Everywhere.
Like you literally got kids stopping on the down to pull a three. Like when you watch, and you could talk about Poole and you got a lot of LeBron jerseys still. When Steph go to out of his country, out of any part of this United States, a bunch of people is at his camp just like a LeBron camp, just like a KD camp. So I think he's on that level. On top of that, just like C's was just saying, it coincides with the 4 championship, this title run. He got 2 on his own, 2 are putting a whole team together. Like he's doing things that we haven't seen before, and he continually make these highlight reels we ain't never seen before. Like, yes, LeBron's playing the game in a different way we haven't seen before, but Steph is doing things on the court that we all have never experienced before. We got turnaround threes from half court, game winners from half court. But the way he's carrying his team, the way he carries himself on and off the court, it's inspiring. It's inspiring to the younger generation. Like, that's why I think he's talking about that impact. Like, when we was all in that MJ era, everybody wanted to be MJ. Every kid now wants to be Steph. Bigger dudes want to be LeBron, but everybody want to be Steph. Why? It's easier to shoot a three than trying to bulge your way to the bucket like LeBron. Most people don't have a basketball IQ like LeBron, but you can shoot the cup off the ball like a Steph if you wanted to, but they understand the amount of work that goes into it, the type of effort that goes into putting in the but that's I think that's where that quote was going. Steph is like the modern MJ. He's still in that same repertoire with LeBron. LeBron's our modern MJ.
Right, I agree.
Steph is like, I feel like we got multiple modern MJs.
That's exactly
KD,
where I was going to go with it.
Got KD, Steph, and to me, we got KD, Steph, and then you got LeBron. And then if you look at it, Jokic is on his way up there too. If he win another damn MVP in this race,
Giannis.
like in my opinion, because he's showing you the way a big man can play the game without scoring. Like I can go rebound and do dishes and still go get 15, 12, and 12 and win a game and make a huge impact. Like that's why I think that quote was going.
I think that speaks volumes to MJ. The fact that we have so many different people in our era doing a bunch of different things, and when you put them all together, that's what MJ was doing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like the pure dominance from LeBron's aspect, MJ had it, and Steph changing and revolutionizing the game, and everybody wanting to be Steph nowadays. MJ was doing that. You know, KD winning scoring titles left and right, being one of the most pure scorers ever. MJ was doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Multiple MVPs that Jokic and Giannis and Steph and LeBron are winning. MJ was doing that. You can keep going down the list, winning titles like Steph and LeBron. You know, so I think it speaks volumes to MJ. I don't know if it's necessarily even calling anybody a modern MJ is paying respect to what he really was to the game. Again, that's one of my biggest regrets in my life to not have lived through that. I swear to God, especially growing up where we grew up.
Yeah.
Being born in here, like it's easy for someone to say who's, you know, born on the West Coast to be like, oh, you know, I don't care, I didn't grow up there. But if we grew up here having just knowing nothing but pure fucking pain of Bulls basketball. So being born in 98, the year it fucking ended, is trash. So yeah, I think I do agree. Steph is one of our modern MJs, but just, you know, one of the ways that MJ touched the game, Steph is touching the game the same way. So
yeah, that's where I'm going to. I completely agree with you. Really the same point that I had is the and Isaac had, the way that the game has changed. I don't think when we look at LeBron, we know what type of player that he was. We know, or still is today, especially when he first came into the league. But he hasn't changed the game, in my opinion. So I think that he hasn't changed the game to where, you know, people are playing his style of basketball. It's very, very few and far and in between of what he can really do, and especially for the longevity that he has been doing it. But Steph, to me, is the modern MJ as far as to how he's changed the game and his impact. Like Isaac said, it's going from the league all the way down from now to AAU, starting as early as possible in AAU, whenever that can possibly, you know, get started. But I agree with you guys completely. I'm glad you guys went on that as well. V, I agree with you too, brother. I agree with. No,
I think Christian's point of like how we talk about these three plus guys.
Yeah.
Being what MJ was in the 90s, like
dude,
that,
that's fucking
and that's part of like where I come from.
Like
and
you
that
put all of them together, and
Steph
then you
is
get
not the modern day MJ because it's not one player that has that.
There's never. I don't think
that,
you'll ever see one player. I
yeah.
think Luke is getting there,
but even then, I think
he doesn't have the reach that Steph does.
Correct.
My question is this for y'all though: is this if Steph wins another ring, is he the modern MJ?
Because I put him over LeBron.
The problem I think is it's not just pure accolades. It's not just pure reach. It's not just pure.
It's all the above.
Because there's a fuck ton of things that Michael Jordan could do that Steph will never be able to do on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where the problem is being comparable to Michael Jordan, who could just literally do everything.
Yeah.
And every facet, inside the game, outside the game, in the stadium, outside the stadium.
But
I just said that too.
I was like, they grew up in an era where 3-point shooting wasn't a thing growing up.
Give him a year. Tell him you're only shooting threes. I guarantee you he's shooting 45%.
You did see his 3-point percentage and his attempts go up throughout his career as it became more prevalent in the NBA.
Right.
So
you had like a specific guy or two on your team that was doing that.
You had your Craig Hodges and your Tony Kukoc and
Steve Kerr's
Kukoc.
John Paxson. You had a few guys who could make threes given around the roster, but the game was played inside out.
It was completely different. And again, that's where I also think Curry gets the credit and gets that MJ nod where he's changed. He's one of the reasons that the game has changed so drastically in that sense.
But speaking of the game change and the game going from a more inside out or more inside oriented dominated game to a now mostly outside oriented, still played a little bit inside out. But it's the inside is to create the out.
Also, shout out to Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, him as well. Yes,
he's in the middle. We're talking about now, but
that's an MJ clone right there. That's an MJ clone
as well.
Right
correct.
But Danny, you posted this one, right? The fans of today.
Yeah,
don't know this game that we're talking about right now.
I was thinking.
I'm so happy you brought this up. I never thought about this, but
I was really thinking about it, especially Luka's posting 60, Donovan Mitchell's posting 70. These players are seemingly going for 40, 50 at will.
Hey, Vooch went for 43.
Yeah,
Tatum had 51 yesterday.
Tatum had 51 on MLK Day.
McConnell had 29. So
yeah. So obviously, do we believe fans? I would say of this generation, or we can even say. I guess we can say like starting maybe like
a few years older than us.
25. I say when Steph really started changing the game. I would say, or especially that Golden State team really changing it to going to like that death lineup and whatever the case may be. Do we believe that fans these days, with how offensive the game is, has forgotten about the scores of the 2000s, the 2010s, Kobe, AI, big man like Shaq, big man like Dirk, Ray Allen was great. T-Mac, Vince Carter. And when you look at the 2010s, really like, Dwayne Wade, prime DeMarcus Cousins, even Dwight Howard in his day as well was a great scorer for being a center with no jump shot. Do we believe that fans? Yeah. Do we believe fans these days are forgetting about those players who really set the bar, like a Allen Iverson, a Kobe, a Ray Allen, who could do it at all? Are those fans kind of forgetting about how good the NBA actually really was in the 2000s, 2010s?
I would say no, but I definitely don't think they give him as much respect. I don't think anyone forgets about it. It's NBA history, and most people don't forget about that, especially this more recent history. But I do think that they play it off a lot more than they should, because guys averaging 30 back then is like somebody averaging 40 today.
Yeah.
Like in a clogged, especially when no one was shooting threes like that back then.
Yeah.
And it was a 2 big man game. It was inside out still. It was defensive minded. And you had these guys averaging upper 20s, low 30s. Like that's insane. Like now our MVP this year might fucking average like 34, 35. We've already had it with Harden did 35 the 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with how casually it happens nowadays, it's definitely not respected as much, but I don't think they forget them in a sense.
I think they move down. People forget to mention them. They're not forgotten overall, but I think they're forgotten in conversation when you talk about great scorers and dominant eras and things like that, because people nowadays love numbers too. I think that's another thing. We have a lot more fans now who
hate that shit,
who don't sit down and watch games. They follow, they see highlights on Twitter, they follow things, they'll watch highlights on YouTube, but it's a more of a following than a watching.
I don't know, you big fantasy guy.
And so yeah, you do see a lot of guys. So like and I think we talked about this a lot when we had our Ja Morant, Derrick Rose discussion. Like watching both players play. What Ja does is incredible, but like it doesn't, like I watched that whole Grizzlies game yesterday, right? And he was shooting lights out in the first half, driving, getting everything to go in the second, and he got all these points, but it's like there was no fight against him, right?
Yes.
I remember
there's nobody in the paint.
when we were watching Derrick play, he had to get past his defender, then weave through
and there's
between
two bigs
and put a layup up while half his body's getting caught on one of the bigs and he's not getting an and
or if it's Joel Anthony, you booming on him.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I think, and I was thinking about this too in regards to Jamal Crawford. When you pitched this, I remember Jamal was like the 40-point guy, right? Like he was the one who would have like 2, 3 40-point games in a season. And I just remember how crazy it was, how he would do this, especially coming off the bench, right? But like he was just so smooth, such a bucket getter. Now we're seeing almost anyone can go for 40.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not special anymore. So I think we're going to lose out a lot of those types. I think what will be forgotten is the Jamal Crawfords, the guys who weren't necessarily superstars putting up,
or at least like how
numbers.
How hard it actually was, like to actually get there.
It was literally impossible.
Yeah.
I think the more we're gonna get into a little bit later with the officiating, but I think the more and more we try to change the way the game is officiated, the more and more we put an emphasis on how well these guys prior to them were scoring the basketball. Because I feel like right now, even now, you can look at it now, this game is geared. And it's even in the social media outlets, like fans are never going to forget about who scored, like our AIs, our Dirks, our Shaqs, none of them, because most of those guys are sitting in like the top 15 and scoring already. But also, when you're watching ESPN and these other places, they constantly talking about it. And then you got your old heads that used to play that, like, I love a Kendrick Perkins because he played a little bit now, but he loved everybody in the past still. Like, he realistic about it, and I appreciate that. But I just think with this, in a sense, I just think you can never forget, because we have, like, literally opened this game up to literally let these guys score. Like transition take fouls, leading to more free throws, bad officiating, get more free throws. It's like, damn, bro, how many free throws you can get? We just talked about Donovan Mitchell and his free throw situation against us in his blowout game, like his big game. But I just think right now, the NBA is geared for you to score. And if you can't score in the NBA right now, well, you can get damn near anything you want if you just put your mind to it at this point.
Yeah.
I just think that's what it is. You'll never forget. I don't think fans forget. I think we said it right. I just think we forgot the emphasis of what they made in the past.
Yeah.
Just because of how easy it is to score now.
Yeah. I
think everybody's soft.
I think too. I talked about. I forget what we were talking about. It was a few episodes back, but I think it also gives a nod to just how talented the league is nowadays.
Yeah.
Because there's just 2 to 3 to 4 guys on some rosters that any of them can go for 40, 50. And there's multiple guys on multiple rosters averaging 20 plus.
Yeah.
And like that was not the case back in those days. So
no.
I think that it's tough to forget them, because the guys that were scoring and averaging that much were the big stars. And now there's second and third options averaging that much and putting up those numbers, not just the big stars. And again, that has to do with the talent in the league. And like Isaac said, when you open up the league to be this up and down and kind of this, just not to like shit on it, but this like AAU style that the regular season is really up and down, just 3-point shooting, just like not too much grit and grind like it is in the playoffs. And then you give that kind of style of game to this amount of talent. It's just inflation numbers, bro. It's stupid.
In 2010-ish, 2012-ish, like
that's why I love playoff basketball.
Those like really good Bulls teams would like, I think they would average 93 points a game, 94 points a game.
Yeah.
But they were allowing like 86.
Right.
Imagine
if you was near or over 100, your offense was crazy.
It was a crazy.
Now it's like 120 plus.
Yeah, teams. I think the lowest is it the lowest average team like scores like 101 something points a game. I think like the game is legitimately almost a different sport at this point because you know it's just it literally is not. It's not refereed the same way. It's not played the same way. There's nothing.
People getting away with travels and carries and shit. I can't handle it.
Oh, I started following some of those people on
social
like
media the snitch.
Shout out to Dev in the lab, the referee snitch.
There you go.
The worst offense in the NBA is Miami Heat, and they average 108.9 points a game.
Yeah, dude, that
is the worst offense in the league.
That shit was crazy back in the day.
The best defense is the Cavaliers, allowing 106.9 points a game.
Come on now.
Wow.
What the fuck?
These 100 numbers were like if you saw a game,
90s.
if you saw a game go to 100s, it was typically one team blowing out the other, like 106 to 82. Right.
That's what teams were scoring in the 20.
Well, y'all remember
2012.
Y'all remember too from the Last Dance. I think when the Bulls went one game like triple overtime and the game was still like 105 to like 100 or something like that. I was like triple overtime today would be like 150, 160. It's like, are you?
I remember that there was that Bulls Nets game that went to triple overtime in the playoffs when Nate Robinson put up like 23 in the fourth quarter in overtime. That game was like crazy high scoring. Like it would be a normal regular season score today. And it's so crazy. So and that's where I think if you go to your local gym and ask the kids wearing basketball hats and shirts, if they're like 19, 20, ask them about some of these guys from the late 2000s, the mid 2000s. They're exactly on so and so, and then they'll even be like, "Oh, I'm not sure that is." They'll pull him up and look at his numbers and be like, "He averaged 24 points a game, bro." Tyler Herro does that, and Tyler Herro's not that good. My bad. He's not that good.
I would knock somebody out.
That's exactly what you'd like. It's.
What do you mean? AI only Herro's at like 21. 30. Tatum's at 35.
AI's 30 would be equivalent to Luka's today of like 35 to 40. I believe like Luka is the equivalent of like AI
most
back
of
in the
these
early
names
2000s.
on the list would average like 40.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody understand. Luka be BSing, y'all. Luka be BSing out there.
I'm just saying though, the closest equivalent to me is at least AI because how much AI had to carry his team.
The only man. Luka the only man I'm gonna say who could score in either era. Why? Luka's too damn big. His 35 still gonna be 35.
I would say LeBron as well.
KD, Bron.
KD kind of weakened the tail though. They could easily bully KD.
If it was after he.
But you gotta think about it. It was like Rick. If it was back in the day, he was gonna have like Rick Smith chasing him or somebody. He was gonna eat that up. Like he was gonna.
The talent was way.
Yeah.
The bigs back there were
big,
trying to move your was trying to move your refrigerator by yourself across the floor, immobile.
I knew none of them say something stupid like that.
None of them good, baby. God. And you put KD 7 foot, same size, by all means, KD gonna score 95 fucking with them. Until you put like Scotty on him or somebody or Tony Kukoc.
It's crazy.
And Tony Kukoc might get cooked.
It's crazy though. The fact that we've lived, through I would say 2 different ages of basketball. I would say, and even a transition period. It's just crazy to think about.
Take me back to the 2010s,
bro.
I'd
give
back
anything
to 92 to 89 nail biters.
Give me.
I'd go back to see Derrick Rose again. That's what I would. Basketball wise, I would go back to see Derrick Rose again and play basketball. And not get injured, of course. But I'm
Go
glad.
buy
Yeah,
tickets to that game and just scream at Tibbs, take him the hell out.
exactly, bro. Take him
Take
out.
him
He's gonna
out.
take
The
his
future.
ACL.
From the future, take him out.
But I'm
Right,
glad
it
we
would've
brought that.
happened eventually.
I'm glad we brought that up, though. I think it was a good conversation, and really seeing how the game changed and the legends of the 2000s and early 2010s really set the way, and how hard it actually was 20 years ago to score 30, score 40. Next thing we're gonna get into, Isaac kind of touched on it a little bit, is obviously the officials. So LeBron ripped the officials in a tweet. Basically was that they're coming up to him and basically giving them, we can really say, excuses at this point. That hey, we didn't see it, it wasn't a foul call, but yet again we have the last 2 minute report for a game, and then you see all these mistakes that are coming out. Cool thing was that Nikola Mirotic in Europe in his EuroLeague game stepped out of bounds. An official missed it. The official was suspended for 6 games.
What?
It was a very
Yes.
crucial call in a close game.
Damn.
That led because he hit the game tying shot that led them into overtime, and then his team ended up winning the game. But they suspended he stepped out of bounds, but the official who missed it got suspended for 6 games. Now, is the officials in the NBA becoming a bigger issue than
That's
maybe a lot of people are anticipating? Is it a
Why
bigger
is that
issue?
not in the States, yo? That should be a thing.
I mean, the NCAA
Yeah.
it happened
That
few
should
years
be a
ago
thing.
as well, where all 3 refs on the court were suspended.
Bro, JoJo
Yeah.
was literally
Missing-
holding Russ's wrist for like that whole
No,
drive.
and it's not
Literally.
even just the specific.
But it's been-
games. I think every other game, you're seeing terrible decisions, terrible.
If you add up to like
Bruh.
5 or more, you got to be out the next game.
But the officiating has been so bad this year. I had to
It
put my
is.
glasses
It's been
on
really bad.
because they need to see some of these. Because I don't know what game it was. I literally watched a player legit fake a shot, threw it in the air. Nobody by him and just fall, and it was a foul. And I was like, okay.
or when they
nobody by him.
when they wait for
Nobody
the ball to
by-
miss.
Oh,
See,
that's
they're
the
gonna
worst.
See if the shot is gonna.
Do we
make
give
it
him the
to
2
decide
points or the
call.
2 free throws?
It's
But we ain't
literally-
giving him 3.
It's the worst thing in the
Right.
world. I can't stand it.
Or they
It's-
fighting for a rebound, and the dude, all he did was put his arm on him, and the dude just jumped. Like,
Or their
Oh,
drive.
oh.
The drive. My sister and I like to talk about the head kick, where people will
All right,
drive
we
and
actually
just put
teach
their heads
people that.
back.
Oh,
Careful.
Yeah.
whoa! Watch your
Oh, wait, we
headphones there,
teach
buddy.
that.
I get
Yeah,
annoyed.
buddy.
I get annoyed. My least favorite one is the drive
The James Harden, Trae
and the
Young.
chest to chest. No, the Giannis,
Oh,
the chest to chest.
Yeah, that one you're annoyed with.
The
You're
absolute
annoyed with
barreling
that
into
one.
people because it's like
It's
the
inconsistently
defender's not initiating the contact.
Mhm.
Like he's just trying to stand his ground and make a play.
Yeah.
He's not swiping. He's not ripping. He's just trying to stand his
running you the
ground.
fuck over.
And then the offended player is just bam, just sprinting into
Bam.
him. I'm like, but then, like you said, Isaac, they'll call it. Bam, fourth quarter, crucial call, no call,
Miss it.
no call.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you? I was like, where was this for 3 quarters?
or vice versa. No call. Then
No
all of a
call,
sudden,
call.
They'll start
when it
calling.
matters,
Call.
you're like,
And that's where I get annoyed by bigger guys too.
Yeah, it's just I think this year
It gets bad.
is really one of the, especially on not like barely halfway in the season, this has been one of the
They up
worst
there with the
officiating
NFL
years.
replacement ref years.
Hmm.
Oh, that was
starting
bad.
They inching.
It's just
Honestly.
how do you? I just don't understand. You have replays and all
But they
that, and
all
you're still
about
missing
65 or
stuff.
older.
That too, but
I
still,
thought- I
like
mean,
you're
there
missing a lot, and it's literally right in front of you, and it's blatant. I just
There's
don't.
got to be like some sort
understand.
of expedited replay that I think that NFL is kind of doing. That's
Mhm.
I think wild card weekend, it worked out pretty well for the
was-
most part.
I thought it was so good, especially on
I
some of
thought,
the more
you know what I'm saying?
obvious,
And it wasn't
misses.
like it
Yeah.
took them 3 years to fucking do it. It was pretty quick.
Mhm.
And that's
It
what
was
it's
like,
still
oh,
coming.
this was a catch. Everyone moves up the field, and by the time they set the ball down, it's like, whoa, no, it wasn't.
Yes.
Back it right up.
Yeah. And the thing is, the NFL has gotten a lot better. It's taken a lot of time off the game itself in general. The NBA has to do the same, and they gotta come down. They gotta come down on these officials that are missing blatant calls like this. You really
Mhm.
can't, because a lot of the calls that they are missing are costing teams games.
Yeah. There's
There's
just
one
no
thing
reason
when
why
you
we can see a replay on live TV
and we know
and
what it should
can
be.
see it's like, okay, they need to change that. And there's no way we
And then
can
they don't
change
change.
that. Like there's
Because
that's
then
just
they
like
say that
can't
there's
happen.
there's
There's
no
not-
video, like there's no evidence or something.
there's
There's
not.
I'm
no
watching
return.
it.
It's
Yeah.
like, come on,
That's where
dude.
there needs to be a third party who's like, bro,
And it's
someone in someone's ear. Hey, yo, change that.
yeah, and it's
Exactly.
like
Y'all are wrong.
and it's the lack of
Yeah.
accountability too. Like I get it. Refereeing is hard. You're gonna miss
Yes.
a lot of calls, right? It's sometimes
Yeah,
it's hard to
get
tell
beat
if a
right
guy's
there,
got
fucking-
fouled or not, and with the guys
In
yelling
real
the way
time,
they do
yeah.
for calls and
Mhm.
stuff, it's hard to make. Sometimes you got to make a decision based on your gut, and I
Yeah.
get that. But guys got to be held accountable. There's a difference between missing a call, making a mistake, and having a whole
Honest.
game where where one game's being reffed one way and the next game's being reffed another, or within the same game you're having
Quarter to
different
quarter,
quarters
half
or
to
different
half.
teams who are being reffed differently. It happens. It is that, and that's the reality of the NBA. It does. It's not. It's very
Hey,
apparent a
don't-
lot of the
nobody
time.
watched that Netflix
So-
doc.
Man,
Don't
the
do it,
referees on that Scott Foster shit, to be honest with you.
bro.
Like,
Don't watch it.
No, I'll be honest with you because I feel bad for the players. We didn't want the technical foul situation this year. Has been
Terrible.
absurd.
Terrible.
Absurd. Why? Like, I just seen John get a tech just talking to him like this, like, bro, you really called that tech? Like, what? People
Guys
got
getting
ejected
technicals
like
for talking to their players about missing defensive assignments.
Tatum the other night clapping his hands.
Yeah, he clapped his hands because he missed a layup.
Yep.
And
tag
technical.
like that's
I thought he was gonna go off after that.
It's
that's
terrible.
unreal.
I just don't understand how you get. And the thing that was pointed out too was that it's a lot of the new referees now. And again, I don't know if it's more of an emphasis to where like, hey, if they just do one little thing and you feel disrespected, like, okay, call it. But a lot of the younger referees now have come in and are really soft with what players are or are not even saying to them.
I was about to say shit. I might take a Scott Foster nowadays.
yeah,
I mean,
unless you're Chris
shit.
Paul.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, unless you're Chris Paul, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah,
Take
we don't want
somebody
to.
with a
Hey,
little more
Phoenix.
experience and a little more.
Well,
Hey,
once the All-Star break, once the All-Star break comes,
we ain't talking.
talk
This
about
ain't the segment. That ain't the segment. We ain't talking about that.
they're bad. But yeah, I mean, overall, officiating needs to get fixed in the league-wide.
Man, I hope that if LeBron keeps, I mean, he is the face still. in
Yeah,
a sense,
we need
he's-
Steph to say
maybe he's
something.
not the face, but he's still the top of the
at least more of
hierarchy at this
the
point.
outspoken one on social
Right.
media when it comes to stuff.
Maybe
like that.
something will change at least down into that post All-Star break, but
You would think, but
it's pretty fucking bad, man.
yeah, it's terrible. But the
I
next thing
have
we're gonna
turned
get
off
into,
games because of it.
It's been
Yeah.
rough to watch. Sometimes
turned
I'm
off
watching a
games
game and I'm
because of
like, and I see a guy get hacked. I'm like, all right, foul, and then I'm like, wait, what? No
Wait,
call.
yeah.
And then on same sequence, drives down, legal takes a charge, blocking foul.
Block.
You watch the replay. Guy standing still, puts his
Still
life
a
on the
foul.
line, and
It's
he gets.
terrible.
And you're like, they don't know what they're doing anymore.
I'm just it's they got to do something because as a fan when you're watching it, the fact that you can pick it out and you know what the right call is and they still get it wrong, that's an issue in my opinion. That's an issue, especially when you still go to replay and be like, oh yeah, we didn't have enough video evidence and you still keep the same call.
And the whole
What
thing.
the
is-
fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
Is what I'm watching different from what you see in it?
And we talk about the expedited
Mhm.
review, all those like review criteria is like, oh, this isn't reviewable. Like, who was it? The Raptors game
Yeah.
where the guy threw it straight out of bounds and then they had to challenge it to reverse the call.
Yeah,
Just to reverse the call. I'm glad you brought that up, V, because
Like-
there's been multiple games like that, and I'm just like, that's reviewable, bro. Ain't
Well,
nothing wrong call.
even
And
the
that doesn't
other
have to-
even
it doesn't have to be the on-court. We can have a crew that goes, hey, no, nobody touched that. Keep it on this side. Because one replay and you can see there was no touch.
Yeah.
The same thing with Donovan
Bro, we
Mitchell's
take media
lane violation.
timeouts.
Yeah. We have
We take media timeouts. You could take a small media timeout to go review that play
You don't
before
even
you
need- a
make
lot of
all of
these
us mad at
calls-
home.
a lot of
and
these calls don't need that much time to be reviewed, though. It could take one person on the
Well,
screen
that's
going.
why I already
that's-
said that.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Expedited
if I
review.
can see it, and if I can see it on a fucking
And
fan
even,
review on my
uh,
TV, how the fuck can you not see it?
And even the one too, it was the Lakers and the Mavericks. It was last week where they said that he fouled Reggie Bullock fouled Dennis Schroeder, but they blew the whistle before nobody even touched Dennis Schroeder, and then they they fouled Westbrook literally clear as
Like,
day.
and here's the thing too is that like because of shit like that,
And they
then
were
you
gonna let
have-
it happen was the
They
worst
needed
part.
they had to challenge the foul
Yes.
call, knowing that they'd lose the challenge, so that they
Yes.
would change the free throw shooter.
And you have problems.
Yes.
You have problems like with us against the end of the Nets game or whatever. No, the game.
Cavs?
the Cavs game where Zach thought he got fouled and then
ended
up
oh,
putting
yeah,
up a
yeah,
2
yeah.
instead of a
Wizards
3
game, yeah.
because they were been calling shit all day, but then they let that
Yes.
contact
Dylan-
go, so it alters the.
If you rewatch that, DeLon Wright
Now the
literally
players
points
are-
at the floor trying to say that he fouled him on the floor.
Now the players are
Yes.
changing how they're playing because of, and it's just bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad.
No, and
It's-
too many
it's
things.
terrible.
It's a lot of things can be reviewed by one replay. You can literally have one person whose job it is to review referee decisions and make
Right.
quick corrections that can be quickly corrected.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
like
They already do it for scoring plays and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
like it doesn't make sense. It seems, and I get it. You want to empower your referees, blah blah blah. They can't be this bad. They
the
can't.
only problem I have with it is then the pace of play in the NBA is that gets ruined a little bit, but I'd rather have the right call than
And I get sometimes the calls are hard, but like I said, if they instilled an instant review team for every game where the officials on the floor do not have to go to the monitor, they call a free throw.
Yes.
The team
Yeah,
or
you have
person
somebody
watches 1 or 2 replays
Yeah.
and can tell you within 10,
I'm
20
saying.
seconds that,
they
hey,
have an earpiece. in.
exactly.
You got like 35 people
it's-
doing multiple things on that side.
it's not
You can
that
pick
hard.
somebody
Yeah,
instantly.
it's
Exactly.
not that hard.
Yeah.
This is an easy fix for the NBA, and they just got to start holding the referees accountable.
Yeah, I agree, man. We're all on the same page. It's
Yeah,
got to
you
change.
gotta move on. Move on.
It's got to
Yeah.
change.
Vitor
bro.
hate refereeing. We can talk this for a while.
So the next thing we want to get into, pretty much we're going away from team ball here. We're gonna go away from the league itself. But we're gonna go again. I mean, I'm assuming you guys pick players like
going
let's say
first.
in the league right now, or did you
No.
guys did you guys go a completely
No.
different route?
No, I just
Oh,
want to go first.
I went
pick
with
one
player. I
player.
went with player in the league right now. Yes.
Yeah, I just want
Okay.
to go first.
Okay, but yeah. So which player do we believe
I
would
just
be the
wanna go
best
first.
1v1 player in the
He's gonna
league?
say the one I'm gonna say.
D, go ahead.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Give me
Kevin
KD.
Durant?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's
I just
easy.
I think yeah. What you got, Isaac?
That's the right answer. What
Nah,
you
nah,
talking
y'all
about?
go first. Y'all go first.
I also
Uh,
went KD.
The problem
Me-
is, I mean, the defense hurts, but he could play.
I think
defense
he's a
when
very underrated.
he can play
defender.
defense when he wants.
Yes, I would say so.
He'll poke a ball away on like a Giannis
he
or a
averages-
Joel
he
trying
averages
to back.
Cute.
He averages
Joel
a block and
backing
a
him
half.
down, he'll poke a ball away.
Oh, you think like
Giannis
that?
trying to back him down, he'll poke a ball
Danny, who
away.
you got?
He can jump with him.
I got Kyrie. I got
Yeah, good
Kyrie.
pick. Good pick.
I got
was
Kyrie.
probably my
As the
2 or
best
3.
1v1.
That's a
I
good
got
pick.
Kyrie.
I know Isaac got my 2. Isaac got my 2, but go ahead.
JoJo.
Luka, you tweaking?
Oh,
Oh, what?
A 3-level score?
You
Post?
can't.
can't
The-
play defense.
Thank you. Thank you.
You don't need to play defense in a 1-on-1, bruh. We talking about getting a
What you
bucket.
mean?
If
Make
he-
it
Yeah, I'm
take
talking
it.
about.
playing
I'm talking
against
about
Make it
miss
take
a,
it.
miss a
Make it take
shot,
it.
miss
If
a shot, and you never
Make
get the ball
it
again
take it.
because you
Yeah.
can't play defense.
Take it.
All right. You better get the ball and never
Make
miss.
it, take it.
As much as I
He
am
can
one of
be
the
physical with
biggest Luka-
KD.
Where's the efficiency at?
No,
He's efficient,
Luka out
but
here
he's not
toying
like
around.
God level of. He's not KD.
KD 11 times out of 10.
I'd even take Kyrie over Luca in a 1v1. To be honest with you,
Luca can body Kyrie at least.
Yeah.
he could body, but you
Kyrie's
never know.
not
He
a
might
good
just
I'm
enough
throw.
talking
defender
about
either.
somebody on
See, the
2
real-
ways.
But
See,
again,
my
that
real
one
pick-
miss, though.
Kawhi,
Kawhi,
That one
Giannis. I
miss.
think if he can,
No.
depends on who he's.
Jimmy,
Jimmy's
Jimmy.
actually a good-
Kawhi, and Jimmy.
Jimmy would be good.
I think JoJo's cracked, but I think the
No.
lateral movement kind of hurts him a little bit.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to like. I feel like he doesn't. He can let a guy get past him because he can still block them on the recovery.
Yeah, but
too.
not
We
like
giving
KD.
these guys too much on-ball defense credit right now. We acting like these niggas finna sick. Y'all acting like these motherfuckers finna sick.
No, but
the
if you make
entire
it a tough,
one-on-one.
If you make it
tough-
1-on-1, KD.
Look, I'm gonna switch my pick because it's just proven the fact. Kyrie would beat any of these motherfuckers in a 1-on-1.
Not Kyrie, not KD.
KD got to stay in front of Kyrie. That ball on the string. I'm taking any dynamic
ball
ball
is on
here
the
that can
string.
score all.
Ain't
I
no
can
one
take
saying
any
Steph to
dynamic-
just smack 10 threes in a row, though.
No, that's
We talking
another
about-
thing. Them the only
talking about
three
Luka.
guys.
But wait, let's throw a little wrinkle into this. Double rim. Are we still taking the same players?
KD.
Double rim.
They already got KD. How many picks you got KD shooting in the park? KD went
got
to
Kyrie
Rucker.
still.
Is Rucker double rimmed?
No, that ain't no double rim.
Oh, I was about to say.
That ain't
I
no
got
double
You never
rim.
know.
You ever
they
see?
threw it
You
out.
ever see?
Kyrie.
You ever see KD have it rattle around the rim? Nah, that ball goes in clean.
Yeah.
He don't give a fuck about double rim.
You
Steph-
exactly
Steph would
right.
be
And I
tough,
watch.
too.
That's cool. I still watch Kyrie let
That's-
that bitch up on every different angle, boy.
I'm really surprised you didn't go JoJo.
I thought you were gonna say JoJo too. Like no one can stop him. All he's got to do is back him up, back him down, spin and go.
No. This is a little different. This is about scoring and a dog. I need Kyrie Irving.
1v1 is very street ball-esque, and I think
Kyrie
I need so epitome of that.
I think if you're talking about playing against guys you're within your same like position or height or that, I think Kyrie pound for pound, yes, but I think he loses a straight up matchup because I think I had KD.
Okay, well, go ahead.
That's the only matchup I can see him losing. Outside of that, who else beating him? Nobody. All right.
He was by
and I watched them go one. They didn't ran ones before.
Yeah, I mean it was, and it's a slim pool of really. I mean, I thought you were gonna go a healthy Paul George, to be honest with you. No, I thought that's where Vitor was gonna go. I thought he was gonna go
talent wise on offense. No,
I'm just saying it could work out. Man.
It's the reality of it. I think he's just the biggest mismatch. He's 7 feet tall and he shoots. He's the best mid-range shooter in the game. He's a good 3-point shooter. He's having a down year. I think he can handle the ball, play defense. Yeah. I think he's perfect package. I think AD, when healthy, is also up there. Because again, he's got the ability to move laterally. He can defend if you beat him on the side. And I think he's got a really versatile.
Look, throw all defensive stats out the window. This is endurance. No.
Hey, leave his ankles out of this.
I mean,
Kyrie,
I had Kyrie 2 or 3.
Yeah,
like KD's up
with
there.
JoJo in there.
Why KD can score consistently throughout a game. I'm gonna take that. Like when it's a 1v1, you coming strictly down to who could put the ball in more consistent. Like AD,
I think KD edges Kyrie just because he can play a little defense.
I'll give that to you. I
guess.
And then he's got the length on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I would take.
Tell me, let me get inside of
that
Nets locker room, bro.
Yeah. Right?
Let me get inside a Nets game and watch them two go at it.
KD, I'll cross you up. I'll cross your ass up. That's probably what
well, yeah, ain't nobody here. Them the two best 1v1 guys who will have them. Put Luka up.
I think Steph is underrated then if you're gonna put Kyrie in that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Steph would be up there then too.
You right, Devin Booker too.
I think D-Book's up there as well. I think D-Book's in that Kawhi and Jimmy, just that mid-range killer with the DeMar in there too.
Yeah.
But I just think
DeMar's actually street baller. Boy,
I think the 3 tiers.
DeMar's just gonna open the gateway for them to go next time.
You know damn well DeMar would never miss the mid-range 1-on-1.
Oh no,
against anybody.
No, not at all. He'd go 100% on those.
Oh shit, DeMar might finish out.
Yeah, I don't know though. I thought
there's a ton of names. There's a ton of names.
Yeah.
But the next thing now we're gonna get into, so some a little different that we wanted to introduce to you guys. So what we're gonna do is we have at least 2 to 4 players now, depending on if there are some duplicates or anything like that. But we got 2 to 4 players we're each gonna name. Our segment is gonna be called Overrated, Underrated, or Properly Rated. Again, overrated.
Just overrated or underrated.
We already
underrated. We don't
need the properly rated.
No, we're gonna say
properly rated.
No, we'll say it, but leave it out of the title.
That's fair.
Underrated,
all right.
properly rated.
Yeah, so we're gonna do overrated or underrated, and then we'll throw that middle one in there. But again, 2 to 4 players from each of us. We're each gonna go 1 down the line, and then we're gonna keep going through our list here. So, Vitor, I'm gonna start with you first, brother.
All right. Yes.
Overrated or underrated?
I'm scared, but I'm excited.
I'm starting with Franz Wagner.
Oh. That is good.
I'm gonna still say underrated.
You came out.
I'm saying underrated.
I'm still saying underrated because of how early he still is. He's up to 20 points per game right now. We really don't know what the effects of his game are going to be on the team, but they are positive for right now, even though they still are
you
nowhere
think
near
he's
contention.
Rated too high because he still has more room to grow, or you think he should be?
No, I believe he's still. I think he's. Oh, actually, you know what? Properly rated.
Oh, there you go.
I think he's properly rated. Yeah, I don't think he's like underrated, but I would say he's like in that middle still. Like we don't really know yet. But
I think similar thing with what you said. I think the potential is there. I think he is already balling at such an early age. I think he came already drafted a little lower than where his talent at this point is. So I'm going underrated.
Oh, okay.
I think him off of the Magic is pretty big. It's a big shot. Take him off. That's a pretty big piece, I feel like.
Put him on the Bulls.
See, why does everybody say that?
Because we have so many holes in our team.
We have so many holes.
It's because we have so many holes in our team. It's easy to
Still
say, put
somebody
this
in
player
Swiss
here, and we're like,
cheese.
oh.
Isaac, what you got?
You know, if this is last year, friends, I probably would have said overrated. But I go underrated. He just I feel like the jump he took this year to help out the Magic team has been like a great benefit to him. Now, do I think he has anything left? No.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you
But
think
we'll
he
see.
might be where he's at?
Yeah, I think he just there.
I'm the outlier. I actually chose him because I've had the feeling that he's a bit overrated.
Okay.
And it's nothing. I think he's got the potential. I just think a lot of people put him where his potential's at and not where he's at right now.
Yeah.
I watched him
Consistency is
a
not
couple games
fully
ago
there.
against the Jazz. He had the chance to make a game-winning shot. He couldn't create space.
Yeah.
And it's just little things, little nuances to
Yeah.
the
That's
game
not
that
what
I
I'm
think
thinking.
separate
That's
him.
not what I think about him when I think about.
But that's
Franz
where I think
Wagner.
I think the general consensus is more so riding the potential than where he's at right now. And I think he's a good player. I'm not saying he's not. This is where these underrated get heated at times. I'm not saying he's a bad player by any means. I just think there's a lot more little nuances to his game that could really put him where I think people really have him at. And I just think he's a little bit under where people think he is.
Okay.
That was
a good pick.
A little over where
That's what I was getting at. Where I thought Danny was going.
Spicy.
And he went to properly.
Yeah. That was a good pick.
That was a good one, bro. Got
That
me
was really
thinking
good.
already.
Now I
First pick,
want to
thinking
go.
like that.
See what you got for me.
All right. Well, my first one is Nick Claxton.
Oh,
because that boy, I think he's been an integral piece to them this year.
This one's fun too.
I think he's been an integral piece to him this year. Did I steal one of yours?
No, he's.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I'm gonna say.
So this is where I think I'm gonna say overrated as well. But let me explain myself. Defensively, I think he's a stud. I think he's one of the best defenders in the game. Combination of being able to step out and guard people on the perimeter and shot block. I watched this man play offense, and I've never seen a 7-footer who just can't put the ball in the hoop.
What are you talking about?
The amount of times I see this guy
he has the
layups,
highest field goal percentage in basketball.
Yeah, that's because he only takes layups.
Right, but that's not.
But the amount of layups he misses if you watch the games is, in my opinion, alarming, and he's a detriment.
At the highest, at the lowest rate in the league.
No, layups. If all your shots are dunks and layups, you should be leading the league in field goal percentage regardless.
He's averaging 12 and 8, almost 12 and 9.
Yes, bro. He don't
Isaac,
only
bro.
Almost 4 blocks a game.
Get in there.
Almost there, 3. He's at 2.7.
He's at 3.6.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
That's over a stretch run. That's not his season.
I'm
total.
pretty sure that's over.
Overrated.
Maybe it was 2.6.
I'm gonna say he's overrated as well.
No,
he's at 2.7.
He's overrated.
Oh, so it was 2.6. I saw that. Yeah. I might have just.
I'm gonna say he's overrated because
only 1 over 3, I believe.
I'm gonna say he's overrated because the Nets wouldn't be looking for help on the front line if he was that answer. Again, going away from stats and all that from what I see, and again going by reports, I believe that the Nets would not be going after front court help if he was properly rated.
Well, I mean, you can't just have one player in your front court and expect.
No, I understand.
I think they're doing that for depth, not because he's bad.
But also, he's a liability on the floor, so I believe he's overrated in my opinion.
All right, I think based off of this season, he's a little underrated.
Okay.
He's the only big and still getting.
I think he's made. I think he's made a pretty big jump over.
He's definitely made a big jump. I just think his offense.
He's made a jump, but he's the only big on that damn team and still getting 8 rebounds.
I mean, come on, he does play with KD. Not now, and Ben.
You acting like KD? You acting like?
I feel like you guys. I feel like you guys are rating him as if like he's a superstar.
No.
I was not as if he was just like.
I just don't feel like. I feel like
putting him at D-boy talks too.
Whoa!
Whoa! Time out.
Reddit?
Wait a minute.
Reddit,
spending too much time on the internet.
Reddit, Twitter, have them all. They all have them
on the internet.
going up.
Those are those analytic fools right there.
Yeah, stay away from those.
Oh no!
That's where you get. That must be where you get a lot of your stuff from.
That's not my. He's not my pick, but
I had him as just like a serviceable bench / role player.
That's right, and I think he overrated for that.
Oh man, so you don't even think he should get minutes at all? You think he should get no minutes at all? Then
I think he's a serviceable backup big. Outside of that, there's some other people who could fulfill the role better than him. That's in the same position as him. In my opinion,
on the market right now.
Yes.
Interesting.
Like a Jared Vanderbilt is better than him, in my opinion.
Ooh.
Oh gosh.
That's actually funny because ESPN posted this, like they did an ESPN Plus thing about like players that a team could trade. What kind of trade do we want to see them make?
I'd agree with that though.
That's actually the pick that they had for Brooklyn, was to bring in Vanderbilt.
They just need help in general on that front court.
I'd agree with that. 100%.
I think they're different players.
They are different players, but I believe though.
I think one does
the
100%. Same thing the other does.
I just think Claxton's slightly overrated. I don't think he's that. I'm not on Isaac's.
I mean, there's a reason where he's.
I think he's a really big piece to their. Him and Ben make that are their defense.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I don't think he's just all the way overrated. I just think he overrated. It's not like. No,
I was expecting.
Well, you're saying serviceable. You're saying serviceable backup big, and I think he's a starter in this league. I just think people have jumped the gun on him this season because of the jump he's taken.
He's taking a big jump.
So I think people are jumping the gun.
That's a much better answer.
Okay,
no, I don't got that.
I mean, you're saying so? There's 30 starting bigs better.
I don't think he's a starting big. I don't consider 32.
I don't think there's a lot.
Caliber. I don't think we have 32 starting caliber bigs. And he's one of them. Like,
30
NBA, not NFL.
but you know what I meant. But like, I don't think it's 30 starting caliber bigs either. So, but I do think it's some people that's on the bench that can fulfill a starting role better than the guys that are starting in certain places.
Okay.
I mean, I personally take 12-9, 3 blocks.
Spicy.
I think that's pretty solid.
This is just.
This is the most.
I might. Okay, so I am going to change. I'll go to properly rated. I will change from underrated to properly rated. So
for what he is now. Okay.
Yeah, I will change.
Isaac, what you got?
You guys have swayed me enough to change.
To trade.
No, don't trade him. I like him. I'd take him on the Bulls.
I mean, he would solve our shot.
That's what I'm saying.
Shot blocking problem.
Not a lot of teams have big shot blockers like that.
Give me Triple J though.
Yeah, for half our team.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Isaac, what you got? What you got, bro?
I got Scotty Barnes.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
I would say properly rated.
This one's difficult because I would have said overrated a week ago or 2 weeks ago because I thought he was having a really bad bad sophomore season.
That's why I think properly rated.
But I think he's really taken that step back to where people thought he was. And can't trade him for KD good? No.
In
that aspect he's overrated, but that's the front office. That's them being a front office. I think he's properly rated right now.
I would say so.
I would say he came out the gates a little too hot.
Yeah.
And now he's back down to where people expected him coming out of the draft.
The slump he went through earlier through the
but
first
I think the
fucking
talent is still off the charts.
Yes.
To where if he can get
he still has that massive potential, but
I like properly Scotty.
You would have had me say
he just hasn't made it. He hasn't taken a nice enough jump this season.
I think next season we're going to be talking about him as maybe underrated, especially if they make moves
on
to clear up
around him. But
yeah.
Okay, I'm going properly rated as well.
Yeah,
with that one.
3 for 3.
Yeah,
Isaac, are you in the under or over?
I'm gonna say properly rated because I think it was a rough start. I think his turnaround was that Bucks. I think it was the Bucks and Knicks game. He just wasn't shooting a damn basketball, and then he leads them in like this furious comeback finally after he wanted to look for a shot. I think as he starts to look for a shot more, everything.
Which is what he did last year.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what's confusing.
I think that team won. Nick Nurse has done a great job, but I do think he's made some mistakes in the sense of how he's created the hierarchy. I think guys have been having to take on either bigger roles than they wanted to or were prepared to, and some guys
are more diminished,
shelved off a little bit. I think there's just a lot of mouths to feed within that 5-man lineup that they play.
Weirdly though, there's a lot of mouths to feed with that lineup when there shouldn't be at that point.
Yeah.
I got you.
I like that. Wow. That was good. I thought about it. But...
Yeah, that was a good one. We got some good
ones. Come on, Dan.
The one that I'm gonna go with here, overrated or underrated, Jeremy Grant.
Ooh,
that is good.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah.
So I'll be the first to admit, I would have said overrated after last season because I thought he was that guy who he went to a bad Pistons team, he got to take the shots, and that's what made him look good. But now he's playing that number 2 role. to Dame, and he's looking even better than he did, I think, last year. So I must say underrated.
Okay.
I think a lot of people still feel the way I felt, where he was kind of like, he kind of just got shots up on a bad team. He's whatever, but he's proven it this year, playing behind a guy behind two guys really who are really shot heavy. I think Anthony Simons is also very trigger happy. So, and he's still getting close to the numbers he did in Detroit while contributing more to winning.
I was going to say properly rated. I think a lot of the packages and teams that were kind of available for him last year, before they chose to just keep him, was I think it was pretty accurate to what we're now seeing in Portland as being a 2 guy, someone who can go and guard multiple positions, guard the number 1 if he has to. Yeah, I think he's properly rated. I think he's right where I do. I think he's right where, a lot of people had him projected, and the reason they were going to trade teams, or they wanted so much for him.
Okay.
That was
I actually have him as overrated.
What?
Ooh, I believe he is overrated.
Why?
Wow.
I need to hear this.
I believe he's overrated. I just do not think he moves the needle for your team. I do not believe so. He can provide an offensive boost, but he can also
Let me ask you a
disappear
question.
on you.
You love saying he
wait,
loves
wait,
Danny
wait.
loves that term.
Yeah.
Moving the needle. Whose needle?
Let me ask you a question then. To move your needle. So say if CJ to move your needle. So if CJ was still in Portland, and they picked up Jeremy Grant without losing CJ and Dame and Yusuf, is he still overrated? With the numbers he have now.
Them numbers
I
are
would
pretty
say
good,
so,
Danny.
because I still think that they'd be the same team with the same record.
You just lied to yourself.
I would still believe that because they're hovering around 500 right now.
They went to the playoffs with Nick Batum, and he wouldn't even score like that.
Hey, don't disrespect. Batum was a dog back in Portland. All right,
I'm not saying
he's comparing him to Grant right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't.
Grant can get you 40 on him.
I think.
So you saying a
Grant off this team, that the backcourt issue becomes a lot more visible, because I think their backcourt is a problem, like it was with Dame and CJ.
It's the same shit.
It's just Dame and Anthony now.
Yeah,
and both of them are bad defenders.
And Jeremy Grant,
I think, is helping mask that. And I think a lot of his defense is what keeps them in games that maybe they shouldn't be in, because I do think their roster isn't similar to ours, is not constructed in a way that's built for winning.
Move the needle.
So
I just don't think they're good enough.
So you gave me
moment.
So you gave me if they still had Damian, let's say they still had the same team plus CJ, and take out Josh Hart, obviously, with the trade that they made. Dame Lillard, CJ, you got Anthony, Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic. Do they make it out of the first round?
Yes.
No.
Because their bench is better.
Depends on who they play.
Well, yes.
Yeah, yo.
They don't. He's overrated. Bro.
What?
He's overrated.
Oh, but we're talking about Dame.
He's overrated. He's overrated.
I don't know how to please you. What moves
that makes no sense.
He's overrated.
I think Derek Carr moves his needle.
Danny, don't do this for the views. Do this for
I'm not.
your basketball knowledge.
I need to take a step back from the screen and really think this through. Like,
Danny, that team has potential to
make
the conference final.
And who's rating him as this massive needle mover?
Yeah, I don't know.
You bring him to a team you want to contend.
I was expecting you to go to what I said, where people had him as a decent package for him.
Just not to move.
You're putting it I even put him package level,
right, bro? I put him in that type of level.
Danny, there's not a lot of 20-point scoring defensive wings like that out there right now.
Yeah.
And he can go for 40 if he needs to.
And most of them are true superstars.
Dan the man.
Hey, Danny, I'll take him on the Bulls, and he'll move the needle for us. I don't know what your needle is. Your needle like winning a chip? Yeah, is that the only thing that moves your needle?
My needle is getting at least you competitive to where you can.
Your needle is heavy. Your needle is heavy.
To me, he doesn't help them make a run, even if that team is fully healthy. He does not help them make a run.
He keeps that needle from crashing and burning.
I agree. I agree with you. I think Jeremy Grant right now is holding their needle up.
Oh,
he might not be pushing it, but he can't push it because the team's just not good.
Because Anthony and Dame are letting.
If you take him off the team, they're in the Wemby talk.
Okay.
Because Dame
All
can't
right.
stay
Hey.
healthy and Amp just be throwing up shots.
I'm just saying, bro. I had what I had to say.
Dan the
No.
man strikes again.
Pull your
Look
shit
at
up.
that.
That just pissed me off.
We spoke about Scotty.
I'm not saying it. I said
Yeah,
properly
give
rated.
it another one, V.
We spoke about Scotty.
Properly rated.
And I want to talk about his teammate, who is the subject of the most trade talks.
Are you talking about Freddie?
I'm talking about Gary Trent Jr.
Oh,
He is the most discussed piece in trade talks of the Raptors.
Around.
Now, tell me, is he being underrated by the Raptors, or is he being overrated by other teams who are trying to get him? Or is he properly rated, and do people know what they're getting rid of?
I think he's underrated.
Yeah.
On the Raptors right now.
Fuck that.
Because
he's underrated in general.
I was gonna say I think he's underrated.
Oh,
and I
wow.
think he'd be a pretty solid
he
piece
blocked-
on another team.
Yeah,
They
for
just-
me, he
they just kinda
blossomed right
stink.
before he left Portland. He blossomed right before he left Portland, and then sustained it and went another level higher for it.
I think
But I do
Yeah.
think he doesn't get as many shots because of how many
Correct.
guys on that team that they
And
have.
I think I'm gonna say this is a four-man underrated here.
He'd
I
be
think
a fucking dog.
I think he's a really underrated defender.
I think he
and
could
he-
kind of do like what what was it? Was it Derek White? Who's the old boy that went to the Celtics?
Brogdon or
Derek White.
one of the two.
Yeah, I thought he could do something similar to what he did last year for the Celtics.
I think he's a
for
much
team
more
this year.
explosive scorer,
but better.
and better shooter than White. White's definitely a higher floor guy. I think you do get a lot of,
More
like
the intangibles.
three for 14 type of nights with Gary Trent. You're gonna get those. He's streaky, but I think he brings defense. He can get turnovers, and he can shoot the
He's
ball.
a flamethrower though. When
And
he gets going.
I think the Raptors and their lack of shooting might
Bro,
be
don't
making
let
a
him fall
mistake.
into like Milwaukee or something. Or
Yeah, I think they depending on what
I
they
ain't
get
gonna lie.
back.
Milwaukee will pull that trigger, bro, and
they'd be nasty because that bench is not very deep in Milwaukee, and he'd be
They're the
God.
sixth
He'd be
best 3-point
nice.
shooting team, adding Gary Trent Jr. Yeah, that
he'd be nice.
Yeah. That was a good clean sweep there. Underrated for that one. Okay.
Yeah. All right, you ready for this one?
What you got?
All right, I'm gonna go Larry Markkinen.
Oh,
because I know we all hate his ass.
I just hate him for not doing this shit earlier.
Larry, possible all-star.
Possible all-star, probable MIP.
Probable, yeah, that's a good point.
I want to
Shit,
say
ain't nobody-
now. I want to say now he is properly rated.
Yeah, properly rated.
I do not believe he's overrated because people knew that he had this type of ability. It just depended on where and when. Everybody knew he had the ability to
27 and 9 for us.
I was about to say
February.
Everybody knew, but I'm saying everybody knew he had this type of ability. It was just a matter of him being in the right system.
Yeah, being confident, because I think that was always his biggest thing. Is like he wasn't a very confident player. He would get guards switched onto him, and he'd, instead of backing them down, demanding the ball, he'd kind of just shy away into the corner.
Yeah,
and I think he's kind of grown up, and I think he's less of a boy, more of a man now. I think he knows that if he's got that small guy on him, it's his game.
Yeah, let's
right?
hope Pat does that before we trade him away.
And he's playing more so like he did in FIFA's. Like he's literally like he's taking the ball, he's being confident.
Yeah.
So he's doing that. I think I would say he's properly rated right now. I think
would
this
agree
is what people could. Rated. Yeah, I would say that.
I do worry for the one season wonder.
Go ahead. That's where I was going. But Isaac, what did you say?
That's where I was going. I was just like the little one season wonder, and all he showed you was him being overrated.
Yeah,
where like you can't just say he's underrated. He's been overrated, but I think he, like you just said, he's properly rated.
Now. I'm teetering between properly and over just because of the one season.
Yeah,
we'll see it, right? I might leave my needle in between that and stand up.
He's got a volatile needle. It could go either way really quickly.
But
all right.
Because of this sustained success in your over half a season, maybe I'll stick with properly, but who knows? That one's tough.
Okay. What you got, C?
I just
no, you said that shit.
You just went.
Isaac, what you got for me, brother?
The new Dallas acquisition, Christian Wood.
Ooh.
Overrated and underrated?
Overrated.
Ooh, I was gonna go underrated.
I'm gonna go overrated.
I'm going under. I'm with V on that one as well. I just
underused, maybe.
I think he's getting the usage now, and I think that's starting to show in their games
and it's starting to make a difference. Literally, starting to make a difference now that he's actually starting, because you're actually seeing that other consistent second option that Dallas has needed since Luka has been in the league. He's showing you that now. Depends on
that's a good point.
If they do keep him and he can sustain. I still believe that he will. I don't think he'll be overrated at any point in his career.
I'll go properly rated then.
Yeah, I think
I do agree that the usage rate early on in the season has been bad, but they are starting to
feed him a bit more.
Like he's playing 36 to 40 minutes right now.
Right.
I think
that's where I'm at.
I think his offensive game is like when I was watching, I think it was Mavs Lakers the other night. And I got this. They outletted it.
He's
to
such
him.
a mismatch.
They outletted it to him because Luka. I don't know if Luka wasn't in the game or if Luka was just covered on the other side. Regardless, they gave him the outlet. This man confidently just doesn't pause and look for Luka like a big would do. He just puts it on the floor, takes it, sees his defender isn't really like pressing up on him, drives right past him and gets it too. Like I think his offensive game is versatile. I think he showed that it was versatile when he was in Detroit and Houston. I just think he has. He's a type of guy who needs some polish, some finishing touch type of stuff. But I think he's a really competent player, and he's a really good shot blocker coming off the weak side as well. Not necessarily the best primary defender, I think, but I do think as a shot blocker, he's really good.
Okay.
I got underrated.
All right.
Underrated,
the next one that I'm going with then that I got. Julius Randle.
Well, shit.
Talk about a tale of two seasons.
That was my third name.
Oh, nice.
Julius Randle.
Put this one down because I don't know. I looked at his name and I was like,
at this point we're just going properly then.
I think but I feel like he's rated. I think he's underrated if we're putting it this season. Because I think obviously a lot of people.
But you also inserted a pure point guard that really knows how to control the pace of the game, and calm things down for him, which looked like his problem last year. Was everything was just too fast and he was just chucking, and I don't know. I think he's pretty properly rated. I think he's where he should be. I don't think we're gonna see that contract year Randall again.
No. Okay.
He might be playing better.
I'm gonna go.
Right, but he was alone that year.
Yeah, obviously the numbers are better. You're gonna go
underrated. So I think he's gonna hit another level
next year.
This year because of Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, but does that mean you're? I don't know. I hate relying on another player to be.
Well, I'm not gonna even say that because even the numbers without Jalen Brunson on the floor, his numbers have stayed the same compared to like last year. When it was barely anybody on the floor and he was just playing like crap. His body language is bad.
Yeah.
Now he got like a team he could compete with, and it's like here he is again.
Yeah.
I just think as long as his heart and his mind is into the season, he's always gonna be underrated because you just know, like once it goes to shit, he's not gonna play anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I think he's properly rated because he's due to such fluctuations in play.
Yeah.
Okay. V, you got one more for us?
I had Randall.
You did?
I did. I had
I'll
Randall
go
as my
ahead.
third. Yeah.
He only had 3. I'm gonna say this one. I don't know. This one thought was pretty fun. I had Jose Alvarado.
Overrated.
Whoa. See, that's
for what? He only averages like 8 a game.
Because people talk about it.
No shit.
It's just because
he's so good.
It's because he's a pest. He's a pest, yes, but I don't think he makes that much of an impact.
I disagree.
I think he can get into if he gets into someone's head.
I disagree.
If he gets into someone's head, he makes his impact.
What has these finals showed you? If you got like a Gary Payton.
And he just went off for like 35 2 weeks ago.
Gary
for like
Payton.
30 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You got guys that
you need a pest, man. You need a pest.
I just think he's overrated. I don't think he's that great.
No, he's not. He's not good at all. He's
play,
not good at all.
And it's
I forgot.
Unmatched.
Yes, but there's games where he doesn't. I don't feel like he makes an impact. Where he comes in. He tries to be doing.
The guy who doesn't like defensive
Marcus
guys.
Smart.
This is the guy that doesn't like.
It's his analytics. This Mr.
Yeah,
Analytics.
the rated decoy. He doesn't.
How
like
many
those
times
type
do I
of
have
guys.
to say I like Marcus Smart? I just don't think he's should be considered as part of a big three.
I'm done with you.
Analytics, Mr. Analytics. You about to get
I'm done with you.
you're about to get a giant thing you have to wear on your forehead every time.
Man,
Go ahead,
that was
Danny.
a good one though.
Alvarado, what'd you say?
I'm saying he's properly rated for right now.
Isaac, you said underrated or
yeah.
properly rated?
Hell yeah. I think Game finna hit another level. Why? He's on he already
He's a
gives you
playoff.
heart
He's
on
a
defense.
playoff guy too.
And slowly his scoring is slowly starting to round out.
Right. And he doesn't get
showing
enough
us he's
shots to
something.
really where he's ever going to average 12 to 15.
But what I love, he don't give a hell about it. He still
No, he
gonna
doesn't.
play. That's what I love. You can't say he overrated.
Yeah,
He out there
y'all
playing-
don't like the same players.
What you
We
gonna say?
third out
Russell
like
Westbrook
defense.
overrated? Well, at least Russ busts his ass every night. I could
He
take
does.
that.
I love Russell Westbrook.
It's because he doesn't play.
I got a Russell Westbrook Thunder jersey.
I don't know. I was torn between under and properly. I like Isaac's point. He's a freaking heart and soul.
You know, honestly, I would still
think
say
they're worse. I think they're worse without him. So
Yeah.
I might say underrated.
I'll even. I mean, I said,
But it's
properly rated,
not
but
like
I'll
crazy. I'm not expecting, like I said, I'm not expecting
Yeah,
12
played his
points
way-
from him. I'm not expecting like 7, 8
Motherfucker
assists
played-
from him. I'm not expecting him to
Right.
grab boards. I'm just expecting him to do the
I'm-
dirty shit, and he does that.
Yeah, Game played his way
Like
to a
most
3-year
people,
contract.
there's I don't think you could find me a few other guys in the league that do
He's
that.
the
like he
reason Chris
does.
Paul retired.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's
body
pretty
is the
retired a
reason
while
Chris
ago,
Paul's
bro.
retiring.
Yeah. All right. That was a good one though. What you got Ike, for the next one?
Ooh, V, you just blew the hell out of me with that shit. I had a couple. I'm gonna go John Collins.
Oh, I hate John
He's
Collins.
he's overrated. Overrated.
overpaid.
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
overpaid, but I think
Overrated
he's
and
better
overpaid.
this year.
He's his numbers are low this year, but it's a usage thing. I don't know.
Oh,
I just
man.
feel like
When
he's
his
not getting the
usage was there,
usage.
contract year, that
I
boy
mean, yeah.
was wow.
But contract year is contract year.
That boy was wow.
I think I'm gonna say he's underrated. I think he's a better player than both the numbers and the general perception shows. He's not as good as the contract.
Man,
I think
you
he's
put him on
somewhere-
another
he's
team.
somewhere
That
in-
boy go
that's what I'm saying.
wow.
I think if you give him that Christian Wood type of role, right, where he's the number 2 on a team, he can his numbers. I'm not saying he's winning you a championship as number 2.
Oh,
I'm saying
He doesn't move.
he's-
He doesn't move the needle.
yeah,
enough.
I
he
don't
doesn't-
like him. I
Yeah.
don't like him as a two.
You don't like him as I mean,
No, bro, he's like
No, I don't either.
probably a 3, but
I don't
I
even
think if
think
you
he's
give
a
him-
three.
if
the
you give
numbers
him
were
the
better
role-
at a 2.
if you give him the role as a 2, I think the perception on him starts to change. I think he's just been kind of pushed.
Imagine keeping him
Yeah.
and getting rid of Kevin Herter.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Even-
Oh,
Especially
I'm
when you have
over-
a Carmelo
I-
lurking
I'll
in
say
trenches.
properly rated.
I say over. I'm over. He's
I definitely
overrated
think
in
he's
my opinion.
overpaid, but I don't think.
I think he's
I
overpaid.
think
but
he's overpaid
underrated.
by the Hawks, but I think a lot of people that actually watch ball know that he's
He's not as bad as
He
he
has the
sounds, and-
potential.
shouldn't have got
Yeah.
that
And I think-
contract in general.
Yeah, I think contracts always a lot of times can define a player's.
Like I think if
perception,
any of
Hell
us
yeah.
were GMs, I don't think we're giving him that contract.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
but it's that
And I think
position
that's
of
where I
like,
say he's properly rated. I think if you are avidly watching the game, I think you can see that. I don't know.
he's a good
Isaac might
player.
be
He's not a
overrated.
great player.
Hell
think-
yeah. See, you reading me, baby. He overrated as a motherfucker to me. I agree. Trade that motherfucker.
right.
He need to go waste his time in Houston with the rest of the weekends.
Yo, he fit right in, averaging about 25 down there.
The next
That's
one.
the only
that-
way his game going.
Next
Yeah.
one I got. I
Oh.
think this one's a good one. Domantas Sabonis.
Ugh.
You stole my other one. That's the reason I went John Collins. I had a feeling one of y'all was gonna say that.
Also, he
Montes
stole Randall from
Sabonis.
him, stole Sabonis from him.
Domantas Sabonis. Overrated or underrated?
I don't
I
like
think
him.
low-key-
Properly
I think-
rated.
I think last week, it was a couple weeks ago, V was talking about how good he was, and I was like, he overrated. But then I've been watching a bunch of Kings games as of late, and I'm like, gang, he underrated, bruh. He is underrated.
You think
his
he
numbers are
underrated?
like-
He is
bro.
sneaky.
He's not talked about enough because,
He is
bro, he
sneaky.
averaged
Finally
almost a
getting talked
double-double.
about.
His
Yeah.
Pacers, he was putting up like
He
almost
averaged a
triple double
double-
every night when he was
That's
freaking
what
on
I'm
the
saying.
Pacers.
It's not like a wild double-double he averaging. It's like a 18 and 10. And
He's
it's like a
averaging
consistent.
He a
19,
Vooch, bro.
12 and a half, and 7 assists. He's averaging 7 assists across the whole season. Like this is and 12 and a half
Like,
rebounds. He
fills
leads the
your
league.
stat sheet in every way, and he tough.
And he
Gang was
defends.
play-
He's
He's an
tough.
okay
with one
defender.
hand.
He tries. He's not a great
Yeah.
He
defender, but he
plays with one
Right,
tries.
but that's all defense is
Yeah.
trying.
The more you, yeah.
The more
Well,
you try, the
I-
more good things will happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be better defensively if you could stick him at the 4. I think like he was better defensively with the Pacers. He's been playing the 5 with the Kings, so it's a little harder for him.
Well, that's part of the reason they traded him in the first place was because both him and Turner play the 5. They prefer to play the 5. And I think they were like, all right, well, let's sort this out and clean it
tough.
up.
I was stuck on properly rated, but I might slide to
switch
underrated.
from properly. I think he's gotten a lot of hype over the last week or two because he's been on an incredible run.
Yeah, but not through the whole season.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely flown under the radar for those kind of stats.
His lack of all-star votes have been like things people have been talking about. So I'll give him properly rated. I think people have been like, "Oh, this guy deserves to be an all-star," and he's not in the top. Or I think he just cracked the top 10.
Properly, yeah.
Okay,
So I'm gonna give him properly rated.
It's tough.
He's very close to underrated though.
I'm reading your face, Danny, and you finna say something to irritate me.
I believe he's still underrated because he hasn't been properly used, but like in Sacramento, he's getting the uses that he has been in Indiana, but now since they're actually doing well, he's getting the recognition a bit, maybe not reflecting in all-star votes, but he's getting the proper recognition as one of the best big men in the league. So
he kind of dog, though.
But
that's all. That's 18 and 12 the last 5 years of his career.
That's Mr. Consistent. Like that's what I'm saying.
Literally 18.9, 18.9, 20, 18.9, 18.9.
That's the Walmart version of Jokic right there, but he's still underrated.
12.4, 12, 12.1, 12.3,
he ain't a
12.6.
Walmart version. Walmart ain't that consistent, Danny.
Hey, you never know,
consistently
man.
ripping your ass off. That's what they're consistent at.
Having people driving down the wrong way.
That's what
I got one more though.
Yeah. I was about to say that anybody got one more?
I got one more, but I think I know the answer for it.
Go see what you got, and then we'll go Isaac.
I had Alperen Şengün.
Underrated.
I think he's underrated. So
that's underrated.
He's the best player on that team.
I figured. I put it on my list, and then as I was getting here and we started talking throughout the start of the episode, I was like, "Damn, I should just not say."
Honestly, on the same team though, Jalen Green to me is overrated.
I agree. I've been on that boat.
It's his pick value that keeps him there.
I've been on that boat.
Jalen Green is overrated.
Well, I'm
throw Cade Cunningham in that list. Cunningham.
Oh, Cade's overrated.
Oh, Cade is overrated.
He might be properly. He might be properly rated.
Out for the season.
This is outrageous right now. I can't. Jalen.
Go ahead. Yeah, he is.
Oh,
outside of
he's
score.
An inefficient chucker who doesn't play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, he gonna be like.
He has
Jordan,
a lot of potential.
He's gonna be like Jordan Clarkson in a few years.
He has a lot of potential, and if he
squaring people up.
He just ran my man. I was just about to go. Jordan Clarkson.
Were you really?
Jordan Clarkson?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes. He averaging 20 points.
I think Jordan Clarkson still I think
he's properly rated.
Yeah, I'm going proper as well for Jordan Clarkson.
I think come playoff time, he's a decent piece for a team, similar like a Gary Trent. He can come off the bench and get you 20 when you need it.
Yeah, he can score. I just think he's not a good defender. He's not really. He's been playing better as a passer, which I will give him the bench credit
because to defend.
I'll give him the credit. He's been playing
at his role. I think he's pretty darn good at it.
A lot better this year. Prior to this year, I thought he was abysmal at everything aside from scoring the basketball.
Yeah,
but I think he's taken a step this year.
I would say.
I think it's because he wants to get. I think it's because he wants to get traded too. He wants to show teams
the last couple of years he's pretty.
He keeps trying to fight people. No one's going to want him.
That's it.
They trying to fight him, bro.
That is.
Who said? I forgot who it was. They were like,
look.
This man's squared up 4 times.
Yeah, Desmond Bain.
Hey, I'm convinced. I'm convinced he's gonna fuck somebody up though.
But you got to see how these fights are starting. It'd be like him, be like, my bad, and then dude will say something to him. It's like, bro, don't talk to me like that.
I'm convinced he'll fuck somebody up.
It's the stance too. It's the wide elbows. It's everything about it. It's just funny. He looks like a loading character in some sort of some cheap fighting game. He's just bouncing. It looks so funny.
He'd be ready to throw him.
I think he'll fuck somebody.
Yeah, but he ain't thrown him before, so maybe it's all
shit.
It's like a peacock putting the feathers up.
That's funny. But
hey, I had one last guy's a special
one. What you got?
Marcus Smart.
Properly rated.
Underrated.
Properly rated.
Criminally underrated.
You wanted it. No, he's properly rated. Just
underrated.
And generally, he's properly rated. Here, he's a little underrated, but
criminally underrated.
Man, but that I like
especially
that one.
by some on this show.
We're gonna
criminally underrated.
We're gonna do an NFL one of that one as well. We should. We're gonna do one.
All right.
But that was
Justin
a good one.
We
Jefferson.
gotta pick a position though.
Yeah, we'll pick a position. We'll do it by position.
No, because then we're gonna
let's
pick
just go
we're
through
gonna
the
pick too
Vikings
many of the same
roster.
guy.
Let's just go through the Vikings roster.
Yeah,
We could do like offense or defense, so we could have yeah.
Yeah, we can throw some multiple ones in there. But that was a good one there. I like that. I thought it was gonna kind of be I thought it was gonna kind of be simple, but I'm glad we did that. But that finishes.
I was
it
about
off
to
for
Jordan
us.
Clarkson, yo ass Isaac on Nick's Claxton. No, I'm just kidding.
You might have squared it up.
Sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
That finishes it off for us.
He cut the hair. He looks better. He's cleaner.
You just got to finish the layup.
Plays better.
Give him properly rated.
Oh, stop! You're lying.
7 feet tall,
bro. It ain't.
Dude's at like 70.
All he gotta do, is just drop it right in there. He can't drop that bitch in there. It just hit the back iron.
He does it 8 out of 10 times. He does it 8 out of 10 times.
I'm gonna go fact check.
Yeah, you're right. He hit the back iron 8 out of 10 times.
Fact checking his shooting percentage. He shoots 73%, so 7 out of 10 times.
7 out of 10 times. The best in the league.
If I was only taking dunks and layups,
With 3 blocks, 12 points,
Yeah.
9 boards.
Just gotta take it for what it is, man. Just gotta take it for
That's
what
pretty
it
good.
is.
I'll take that for 25, 30 minutes a game.
Isaac's over it. He's over it.
I'm telling you, they beat the Bulls if he makes
Brooke Lopez is better.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, Brooke Lopez come playoff time hitting about 6 threes a game is fucking ridiculous.
Well,
Brooke Lopez
he got
this
ejected
year
today.
and right now. Damn.
He pulled
snatch
Gary
Trent
Trent. He snatched
He
his
snatched my man's
headband.
headband. See, that's when you squad up on some Jordan Clarkson shit. That's when you put your hands up. Like, hey, man, don't touch my headband.
When people grab my head.
Hey, Jordan Clarkson wears headbands too.
He does.
Oh, Brooke Lopez, watch out.
Yeah, bro.
We need that.
Headband snatcher.
All right, Dan, close that out.
Man, but this finishes it up for us for episode number 35 for our NBA portion. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Tune in. Episode 36 will be next week for you guys. YouTube video is going to be dropping at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time for you guys, 2 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, check out our Instagram. Our reels have been popping lately. Check out our TikTok page as we continue to grow that. And then if you guys are listening, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Helps us grow, and it's completely free to subscribe. But thank you all again. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you guys for episode 36 next week.
Go Niners, baby.
Go Bills.
Man, we'll fight it.